let's talk a little more about anchors, particularly some techniques we can do to create our own anchors, and a few fun little stories on how this applies in real life. One comes to mind already. Okay, so you may notice I do this a lot. You may also notice in Star Trek, Tuvok, the Vulcan, does this a lot as he thinks and ponders. This is an anchoring point. This helps stabilize the mind. Does it do so because I've suggested myself that? Quite possibly. But we're also pinching certain nerve endings. Now in the East we're taught of mudras, and mudras are hand positions of power. And the idea is that you're pinching certain nerves and energy is circulating throughout your body in a certain way for certain results. But psychologically speaking, we could even invent our own if we wanted to. And it becomes fact the more that we connect this hand gesture, say, to the mind state I'm in while I perform it, or to the ritual, that is to say, what we do in action and emotion, physically being brought into the world. Our actions, such as if we're smoking, this gesture becomes addictive. So people continue to associate this with the fix of nicotine, and it's why vapes for most people, I'm not really a smoker, but it's why it's not the same, why they don't really enjoy it. It doesn't have that same gesture that they've associated or anchored in their mind with the mentality that they're looking for. So we'll give a couple examples of mudras. Me notice Donald Trump doing this, right? It notices that same finger. A lot of these people are taught either subconsciously through television programs and different things, through recurring themes, where other people have already been taught, or consciously through books or through studies in occult or in religious studies, in meditation, yoga and Kundalini yoga. But mudras are one of the things we can do to control our mind. So if this means mind, it's flicking right into your mind. Or you might say, because the Gyan mudra is taught that it helps prevent insanity, that it's his way of dispelling anxiety as he continues to make a point in talking to someone as to not be overwhelmed. You can make your own of these and apply them, or you can take up a study of someone else's system to take advantage of if you like. Then we have breath work. Breath work is amazing. You may have heard, as your breath slows down, let your mind slow down. And just as we're winding down right now, and you feel that relaxing coming to you, just by controlling my breath, even on the in and out as much as possible. You see how effective that is? You can do this to bring yourself into control. There are two main breath techniques that I talk about, and that most yoga talks about, and that is long, slow, deep breathing, and breath of fire. A fast, rhythmic, stomach-pumping sort of breath. Long, slow, deep breathing slows your heart rate, right? I actually almost exploded one of those automatic machines one time experimenting with if I allowed my heart rate to drop, if it could detect me or what would happen. It was a very bad idea. Well, scientifically it wasn't, but I was like, get this off me, you know? But just the opposite then is also true, that a faster breath is going to speed up our heart and speed up our metabolism, speed up our blood flow, create warmth, etc. You can use this to control your body temperature, and you can use this to control your mind. You can use the mudras to control your mind. The point here I'm making today is how we can effectively take away the powers of the brainwash or suggestions of the world by reminding ourselves our own suggestions, that instead of being programmed, we become the programmer. That as we talk to ourselves, see the video self-talk, that we can do different techniques to give us just that much more of a conscious control on our every biomechanical process, our emotions, our minds, that we can be that much more successful. But you have to be the one to be telling yourself the story, and you have to have some method. This is what faith is about. Have ye just little faith. You can put faith in any system you want. Call it magic, call it the occult, call it prayer, call it positive affirmation, call it the arts of suggestion, call it neurolinguistic programming, call it conversational hypnosis, and the list goes on. This is just ways to look at yourself. The chakra system, that's another good one, which can be translated into organs. And I mean, the things are very complicated. Find a system that works for you and spend time with yourself applying it. And that system becomes very real. In the same way that you're raised in whatever religious beliefs you've had, and before you'd had a certain experience, you were already a believer. We as humans want to believe. So what happens when we take advantage of this and we create our own belief systems? When we affirm what we need to survive rather than going with the herd mentality or going with other people's suggestions that are bombarding us through television, through video games, through daily conversations, through abuse at home, through screens and arguments. These things aren't what makes us, but it becomes a part of us. It gets instilled in us. It becomes trapped in our minds and memory, and in our muscle memory as well, as we create anxiety and tension over these things that can last very well for many years. But by applying a system, meditation, prayer, breath work, yoga, even average working out, you can make each posture be connected or anchored to a certain thought in your mind, and then call forth from the subconscious all the memories related. I'm going to give you two stories here. One now, unless it comes back too much, flooding to the surface. When you're dating a woman, say, I'm pretending to speak to a male audience member now, and you really want her to like you, you can create an anchor of her joy to a mudra or hand gesture that you make. For example, we're sitting at a diner with this girl, right? You order her coffee or whatever it is. You're making small talk and casual conversation. At some point, you make her laugh and her eyes and her smile and her body just lights up as you do so. You wiggle the fingers on your left hand. Or perhaps you tap the table twice. No one ever taps the table twice for no reason. And you can do it in a meticulous, deliberate manner, but this is a subconscious background detail. It's recorded in the brain, but it otherwise goes unnoticed. I hope the audio still comes out okay. My earbuds died. So while this person is consciously engaged in emotional stimuli and lit up like a Christmas tree and happy and joking and admiring you, she's also recording that data. But since she's otherwise engaged, it goes unnoticed. In the future, these two ideas are anchored. And the more you can do this type of behavior, the stronger that connection, that chain, that pathway becomes. So in the future, if you need to bring out that joy, if you fight a little bit too much, if you need just a little more pull into bringing this person up out of sadness or anger, all you have to do is wiggle the fingers on your hand, and it gives you just that much more of a tug on this person. Because they've anchored finger wiggling to loving the fuck out of you, to laughing and feeling mirth and joy with you. This is the power of anchoring. And it can be as simple as a hand motion. I used to tell people, warning them of wronging me. Because I am intelligent, but I'm passive and I'm kind. I'm forgiving, I'm patient. I know not everybody operates the same way nor at the same pace. But I do call myself a witch. That is to mean aware. I am intelligent. It doesn't mean that whatever you're doing that could harm me, yourself, or others is going to incur forever. It just means I'm really hoping that I don't have to be the one to interfere. And along those lines, I usually joke to say, you can fuck around if you want, you can hurt me, you have free will. But know this, if you hurt me, I won't even have to lift a finger. Okay, nobody does that. It's anchored, it's forever in their mind, it's guaranteed to be recorded. I won't even ever have to lift a finger. Yet more hand gestures implanted into that mind. You may notice hypnotists such as Darren Brown make a lot of physical contact and deliberate gestures. We'll talk more about actual hypnotic induction methods in the near future. This has been Kevin Chaos, and I hope you have enjoyed this conversation today.